Hello, and welcome to Shows to Astonish. I am your host, the Fat Mantis, and today I'm going to be reviewing Season 2, Episode 7 of The Mandalorian, referred to as The Believer, written and directed by Rick Famuwiya, he's come back from Season 2, in which he did the great, also Bill Burr, featuring Prison Break 1. Now, I have to unfortunately make this episode really quick. It's just been a real hectic day, but I've got to say this was another excellent episode of The Mandalorian. It is notorious in that it is one of only 2 episodes that really don't feature Baby Yoda. I don't consider the first one actually featuring him. And so we have to go through some of emotional realities. We have to be awoken to these things in order to understand the story. And it all goes through Bill Burr, which I was absolutely not expecting. And I don't think anyone was expecting. I think everyone is kind of blown away by this idea that Bill Burr was the emotional centerpiece to discuss war and humanity and just to be a vehicle for all this change for multiple characters on the series. So attempting to locate the location of the Star Destroyer that has Moff Gideon, they decide to break into a Imperial base out on the outskirts in a jungle planet. And while they're there, they unfortunately encounter the realities of what it's like to be a stormtrooper, or at least on the Imperial side. Now, while they are disguised as stormtroopers, and it's notable that the Mandalorian himself had to take off his uniform and he had to take off his armor and dress like a stormtrooper, so his face is still hidden. As they traverse the planet using a behemoth vehicle, a transport vehicle, transporting dangerous fuel, they also prepared us for some melee combat from the Mandalorian himself. He was actually fighting off some pirates. It's funny, people call these space aliens pirates. They're actually freedom fighters. They clearly wanted to blow up the fuel transports and not actually steal them for their own good. It's fascinating. So obviously they weren't trying to cash in on it. They were just trying to stop the Imperials from doing whatever it is they do on that planet. But there was a great opportunity for Mando to express and show some of his spear and melee combat, which I'm sure is going to come up next episode as well. Bill Burr's character, Mayfield, gets into this weird philosophical discussion, probably a justification for the things he did when he was an Imperial, when he basically said that people can't decide really in life what side of any war they are. And if you're born on one planet, you're on one side. And if you're born on another, then you're on the other side. And that's just how it is. And clearly, this is a man who has a guilty conscience. He was, after all, a sniper, which means he's taken many lives, probably both rebels and innocent lives. And he kind of justifies that. That's just how it is, man. And that's how I sleep at night. I think he literally uses those words. Later on, when they get into the base, it becomes a situation where only Mando, taking off his helmet, can access a computer that wants to make sure there's a human user, so they have to see a human face present. And although we are familiar with such technologies in our lives, I thought it was kind of a lame excuse as to get him to get his helmet off, but I don't care, because ultimately it allowed for him to show such emotional growth that it's clear that Mando does it all for Baby Yoda, and he's willing to break his creed that we thought it was unbreakable in his eyes for his love of his adopted son, and it was just beautiful to see. It also allowed for some great acting on the part of Pedro Pascal. Possibly one of the best scenes ever is when they are confronted by an officer and they get to have a sit down with him, and Mayfield starts bringing up these philosophical questions about, or ethical questions about being an officer for the Empire, and when the officer isn't answering them correctly, you can tell it's gonna get physical. And there's this wonderful moment where Pedro Pascal, looks over at Mayfield, and he gives him a little head shake, and he's like, "Don't do it, bro. Do not do it. Please don't do it." I think we've all been there. Maybe we're at a party or a gathering, and you have a friend who's a loudmouth or gets heated very easy, and they start mouthing off, and you just look at them and you're like, "Please don't embarrass me. Please don't embarrass me." And in this case, the embarrassment turned out to be Mayfield shooting the officer dead and them having to shoot their way out of the situation. I will say this episode gets a 95 for me. I really just loved this opportunity, that it was a little more adult, a little more nuanced. And I actually think that this resolution with the officer, it comes down to this. Mayfield said he could sleep because it's not his fault what he did, because he was born on the wrong planet and ended up being an Imperial. However, then he meets somebody who isn't an average Joe. What it is that is a good explanation if you're a normal Joe. But what if you're an actual evil person who enjoys killing, or let's say doesn't care about soldiers? And when he meets them, it kind of makes his own world break apart, and that's why he has to shoot him dead. It was some fascinating stuff. You know, Boba didn't do much in it. I think they're just saving his awesome onslaught for next episode, which I think he's going to have a big one. So once again, 95, amazing episode. What did you guys think? Please let me know down in the comments. Also, I want to let you all know that next week we're going to try something really new for this channel. It's going to be my first live stream. We're going to do a Mandalorian watch-along. It's okay if you've already seen the episode, you want to watch it again, or maybe it'll be your first viewing, but that'll be Friday, this Friday, 7 p.m. We're going to start with about 15 minutes of chat, and you know, with some of our other hosts. My boy Courtney's going to be there. Steven, as you know, will be there, and we'll have one other surprise guest star. And we'll have a 15-minute conversation, just recap. We'll get into the episode, so you can just watch at home and just watch with us. And I would really love it if you guys showed up. It would be amazing. All three of you. Can't wait for that to go down. So please let me know what you like in the comments. Show up next week, you know, on Friday, 7 p.m. for the Mandalorian season finale watch-along. Until next time, ciao for now.